Hi, I stopped the video because as I was doing this, I realized that in Maya 2020 you have to be a little bit careful because what I had been doing was I had this anim layer here with, he's got this other animation. I'll just show you, of course, of him dropping down and knocking his shoulder as he comes around the wall. And also, the head turn as he's looking at the wall and looking this way, and the head turning. Maybe I could, perhaps the head could turn and look at the wall even more. I'm looking at it. It looks like yeah. So, always a good idea to do things in this window so you get an idea of what's going on. Um, so I'm going to have him looking a little bit more at this wall. Maybe a bit more still, so something like that. So he's kind of looking at it like that as he comes around. Maybe here too he's looking at it slightly more. Turn his head around slightly. But I'm always trying to avoid these kind of large moves. People tend to look like this, and then it's looking around. Anyway, what I was going to do was I was going to try and bake out the animation from the anim layer, this extra layer here, and I remember I had a time warp on top. Now what happens then is you get kind of some weird artifacts in Maya, so the best way to do is to kind of do one at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake down the animation. I've got rid of this, the slowing in and speeding up. I'm going to put this on afterwards. So I would advise you, if you've put it on, just to get rid of it. It's a bit of a pain, but you can just put it on again. Go to Key, Scene Time Warp, delete Scene Time Warp, and then go to the layer that the Scene Time Warp is on. It'll be the one above this, and just if you right click and press delete, you can delete the Scene Time Warp layer as well, so you don't have that extra layer. So that you've just got the anim layer, and you've got the heavy, whatever character you're doing, walking or running around it. So I'll just show you, and I'll put the Scene Time Warp afterwards. So the first thing to do is I want to bake this animation here onto this. I want to bake it down. So to do that, I've also changed the frame range. I'm going to change the frame range. As you can see, if I look at this, I'll go into the view. I always change the camera settings. I'm going to put on a gate mask, which will make it, you see, if I put a gate mask on, it will make this, and I'm going to show, where's the camera settings, the film gate. So what happens if you do that is you can see at what point the character actually leaves the shot. He's actually out of this shot. And make it show you a little bit more easily. So I've got the film gate on, gate mask, and there's these different settings. There's overscan, which shows you, it's almost like a postage stamp. You can see where he leaves, and he's actually out of the shot by 110. So I'm only going to go the animation essentially is finished. The renderable animation at frame 120. You've got that, and that. Yeah, that's it. So 120. I'm going to bake this out. To bake it out, I just select the all the controls that are animated, and I can just bake it out. Either of these layers can be selected or both, doesn't really matter. And then I can just go edit, keys, bake simulation, make sure that it's not on smart bake. And also in this one I've got it on time slider. Now my time slider only goes up to 120, so I'm just going to bake this out. So I'll bake that 120. Now you see I've only got this section here now because it's been baked out, and he'll come round. Let's make this bigger so you can see. Now you'll notice he's kind of looking a bit low there, and that's just because it's still, even though it's baked onto this, this animation layer is still there, so it's kind of double transforming him down. So just get rid of this one because we don't need it anymore. I'll show you what happens to him. Look, he's down like that. Watch this. Edit, delete, and then he's got that baked animation on the shoulder drop and everything, but he's not. It's not double transforming him. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first thing. I'm gonna change the camera settings to not for overscan. I'll do it to fill. So it gives you a bit more space, but you can still see these borders, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so I've got it on fill. That looks good. So next, I'm going to do the kind of easing, the kind of speed in, speed out. So I'm going to add the time warp now. So I've only got one layer now, which is good. So I'll make a new layer. I've got all these all the things selected, and I'm going to add a time warp. I'm making a new layer for these bits that he's got by pressing on this, and this is my time warp layer. Time warp. And then I'm going to go to my scene time warp again. I'm going to add a scene time warp. Okay, so this time I'm going to start. For some reason, it's a quirk of Maya. You need a layer, an extra layer with the bits you're slowing down and speeding up in when you bake to get the scene time warp to bake onto the character. For some reason it doesn't do it if you don't have this extra layer with the controls in it. Who knows why? It's just a quirk. So anyway, let's put this on now. I'll go to keys, scene time warp, select scene time warp, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to have him, so he runs up to the, so I'm going to have him running actually a bit faster. So I'm just going to increase the speed a bit, just a little bit, because he feels. So I might actually make the animation a bit shorter. Yeah, it does make it a bit shorter, but it looks. I think he's running a bit slow. Is that a bit fast? Yeah, it feels a bit better. Anyway, that can be. Moves a bit too fast. Let's see. Put scene time warp again. Maybe bring it down a bit. Where was it before? Maybe just step up a little bit. Okay, a little bit. So a little bit, yeah. Right. So he's going to come up. So what's he going to do? So I'll get the scene time warp. I'm going to go to this thing here, the keys. Insert key tool. So running up to it, he's going to run up quite fast. Is he going to slow down? Yeah. I have a key here. Go select one on the line. And I'm just going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to have him kind of slowing down slightly. I'm just going to, you've got to be very subtle with this. It's a little bit here, so he's got that kind of, and then he's going to speed up towards there. So I'll put another key in here. And I'm going to have this, I'm going to move this up a bit. See what that looks like. Okay, so it's not great, but anyway, and then actually I'll move it up, but I'm going to do this. So he kind of slows down to the curve and speeds into the curve here. So I'll use another one. Does that look like? Trying to get it to feel a little bit more organic, more natural. Just take the nerves curves out, so look at this. Let's look at this again. See, you don't want to, it might be a little bit too, what is this a bit too? That bit comes around, it feels very fast. So I need to bring this down a bit. You're really looking at subtle changes, otherwise it's gonna feel weird. Right, let's look at this again. Subtle modulations. So there we go. I mean, I probably won't get it perfect. This is the kind of thing that you really have to work on. Anyway, I mean, let's just say that I think that's okay. Okay, so if I'm going to go with that, the next thing I'll show you what to do. I mean, you know, what you would do is you just work on this until you got it exactly 100% how you wanted it, and you have to play around and, you know, really just get the motion looking as nice as possible. But for the sake of this video, I'll say, okay, this is it. And now, okay, I want this subtle speeding up and slowing down. I want this on the character. I want what I've put on this, yeah? So what I do then is I just go back to this, my start. I'll select his controls,